Atlanta Black Lives Matter protesters interrupted Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton over the weekend, where she was speaking at Clark Atlanta University, which is a historically black university there. The protesters started chanting Black Lives Matter a few minutes into her speech. At first, Hillary Clinton acknowledged them, saying, yes, Black Lives Matter. And I'm going to discuss that in this particular speech. She then sort of tried to continue, but it was not possible. The Black Lives Matter protesters continuing to make noise and cause a disturbance for a while, by some reports up to 30 minutes in some way, shape, or form after they started. I'll play for you just 30 seconds, including the beginning of this interruption, and then we'll discuss. As the protest continued, there were some in the room who were making noise, trying to get the Black Lives Matter protesters to let her speak. Others chanting Hillary, Hillary. Ultimately, Congressman John Lewis, who's a civil rights icon, he had introduced Hillary Clinton. He tried to break up the protests. He put his hands on the shoulders of the protesters, and he was somewhat effective in quelling the protesters, who were ultimately escorted out after the uproar. So the story ultimately became, for many, that Hillary Clinton has thrown out the Black Lives Matter protesters from her speech. Now, I do not speak for Black Lives Matter. I am not black. I may just fundamentally misunderstand the goal or not see this correctly. It seems to me that if you're protesting because you want people, politicians, to pay attention to your issue, when the person says, I'm going to pay attention to your issue, I'm going to discuss your issue, maybe you want to give them the space to discuss the issue. And then if you don't like the content of what they say, then you resume the protest, or you continue to say that you were not satisfied. My sense is, as someone who is not black and does not speak for the Black Lives Matter movement, although I am overwhelmingly supportive of the issues which they want discussed, it seems to me that that would accomplish much more than just continuing to yell after Hillary Clinton has acknowledged them and said that she agrees with their message and wants to discuss it. The entire problem is that for too long, black voices and issues that disproportionately impact minority groups were being ignored by politicians. They were being ignored in the literal sense that at political rallies, the issues weren't being discussed, and you didn't see people who were part of these movements at the rallies. Then they were ignored legislatively and politically in terms of the actions and bills and laws that were passed by politicians. When the candidate says, yes, the protesters are right, and I plan to address that in my speech, maybe it makes sense to give an opportunity for that to happen. And after the initial interruption, I don't know what more you achieve by continuing to prevent Hillary Clinton from speaking. But again, maybe I misunderstand. And if I do, just let me know. From the point of view of the media impact, once you interrupt and your presence is made there, you're going to get the articles written about you. You're going to get the headlines. People are going to say, Black Lives Matter interrupted Hillary Clinton. You may get more long-term by at that point when Hillary Clinton says, I am more than interested in discussing this issue. Maybe you allow her to do that and it becomes more productive. If I'm wrong, let me know and I'll follow up on this issue. No question about it.